Hey everyone, I'm Steven for Futurelooks.com and we're at CES 2015 checking out some brand new products from Zotac. When NVIDIA launched their 9 series graphics cards, Zotac came out with some pretty awesome solutions, such as this card right here. This is the GTX 970 amp Extreme Edition, and this is a 2.5 slot card with a whole bunch of embellishments, including increased voltage stages, power stages, lights that light up that can be customized in this very unique and aggressive fan shroud on the top here, as you can see. But one thing that people didn't like was the fact that it was a 2.5 slot width card, which made it difficult for you to run triple SLI. So what Zotac did was they went back to the drawing board, listened to some customer feedback, and came up with this card down here. This is the GTX 970 Amp Extreme Core Edition. Now what makes it different is that they've dropped some of the shrouding, that it was more aggressive, they've dropped the lighting, they've dropped some of the overclocking features, but one thing that they kept was the high overclocks. In fact, this one's a little bit faster than the original at 1228 megahertz base and 1380 megahertz boost. There's still 4 gigabytes of DDR5 256-bit memory on board, and the memory clock is 7200 megahertz. And one thing that you'll notice right off the bat is that it's 2 slots width, making it a lot easier for you to run a dual SLI or triple SLI setup. But I think one of the best things about this card is that they brought it in at a cheaper price. This one's only going for $389 now. But if you can't afford $389 for one of the top NVIDIA GPUs, you can spend a little bit less on this one right here. This is the GTX 970 Amp Omega Core Edition. Originally, they had an Omega Edition that was 2.5 slots. This is 2 slots, making it a lot easier to fit in dual SLI and triple SLI setups. It's not quite as aggressive in terms of clock speeds over the other Extreme Edition at 1152 megahertz base and 1304 megahertz boost, but it still has 4 gigabytes of DDR5 256-bit memory, running at 7010 megahertz memory clock. And the best part of this particular GPU is the fact that it's now only $359. So what that means is that you can afford more GPUs for less money. Now Zotac is also known for their mini systems. In fact, we've got a couple of their smaller systems right here in their ZBOX Pico series. These are their 2nd generation Pico boxes, and the one over here is based on an Intel Atom Z37750 quad-core processor that runs from 1.6 gigahertz up to 2.39 gigahertz on turbo. It's got Intel HD graphics, dual channel memory up to 4 gigahertz, 1066 megahertz, and it also has a 64 gigabyte eMMC embedded inside. It's also got HDMI, mini DisplayPort, gigabit LAN, 802.11 BGN Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth 4.0 for a package that is quite powerful and packed with a lot of different features. On the left-hand side over here, you've got the AMD version of the Pico box, which is based on an AMD Mullins A4 6400T quad-core CPU that runs at 1 gigahertz up to 1.6 gigahertz. But it's using the AMD R3 graphics, which makes it just a little bit more powerful for graphics-intensive purposes. It's got 2 gigabytes of DDR3 running at 1333 megahertz and a 32 gigabyte eMMC on board. In terms of connectivity, you've got HDMI, mini DisplayPort, gigabit LAN, 802.11 AC Wi-Fi, so that's a little bit better than the Intel version, and Bluetooth 4.0. Both of these units right here will retail for about the $249 and under price point. At the ZBoxes from Zotac is the EN860, which is the update to the EN760 that we actually saw at Computex earlier in 2014. This particular unit has an Intel Core i5-4210U CPU that runs from 1.7 gigahertz up to 2.7 gigahertz. It has an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 870M on board with 2 gigabytes of GDDR5 memory, and it can run up to 16 gigabytes of memory. There's actually 2 DDR3 1600 megahertz SODIMM slots on board. Internally, there's also a 2.5-inch SATA hard disk drive or SSD bay. And in terms of connectivity, you're looking at an HDMI port, a display port, a DVI port, dual gigabit LAN even, 802.11ac Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth 4.0. A Plus model is also available and includes an 8GB DDR3 module and a 1TB 5400 RPM hard disk drive to get you started. But you can buy bare bones and build it up yourself using your own memory, your own SSD, and having a really great gaming performance out of this continuation of a truly gaming capable portable system from Zotac. The retail price of the ZBOX EN860 will go for about $549 in a bare bone fashion. A model with the 1TB drive and 8GB will retail for slightly more. And that's our look at Zotac's new products for CES 2015, from brand new graphics cards to mini systems from their ZBOX series. It looks like Zotac is continuing to push the limit in 2015. I'm Steven for Futurelooks.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in our next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.